Okay, part 2. Hips and shoulders class. All right. Starting at the top of your mat, mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms high. Bring your left leg out in front of you, activating your quadricep muscle. So keeping your knee really straight and pulling your toes back towards you. Balancing here. This is hard for you. Go ahead and bend that left knee or just bring that leg closer to the ground. Next breath, trying to keep that left leg lifted, come to warrior 3. So left leg is behind you, torso drops forward, arms out to a T, squeeze those shoulder blades. Hips are square to the ground. Should feel the right glutes firing up here to support you. And then exhale, slowly lower that left foot down to the mat. Keep the heel lifted, crescent lunge. See if you can keep the spine really tall here and just kind of tuck that tailbone under. Feeling that nice deep stretch through the psoas muscle. And then exhale, airplane the arms. So that torso's coming forward a little bit. And then reach that right hip back a little bit, left hip forward to really square those hips to the front of your mat. And then sweep those arms out to a T. We're going to make our way into warrior 2 here. So drop that left heel down and just open up to the left side of your mat. Gazing over your front hand, you're in warrior 2. And then checking in here with your weight. Are you being pulled forward or can you kind of shift that weight back just a bit so that you're nice and even? Lift that left arm if it's dropped a little bit. And then tick-tock the arms, come into side angle. Maybe gently stacking your forearm on your front thigh. Otherwise, reaching that right arm either in front or behind that right leg. See if you can open the left shoulder a little further. And then start to straighten that right leg out. Make your way into triangle, but keep just a really gentle knee bend into that front leg. Protect the joint. Strong core here lifts you all the way up. And then take your hands onto your hips. Turn them to the front of the mat. Maybe adjusting your stance if you need to. Interlace the hands behind the back. Find some chest expansion. And then step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. And if it's comfortable to kind of lift your hands off your low back and reach them up to the sky, go right ahead. Otherwise, if you need to kind of stop interlacing the hands, but just kind of reach the hands up to the ceiling, that's an option too. And then exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep the arms high. Take the right leg this time. Bring it out in front of you. Nice, strong quadricep. Pull the toes up towards you. And then start to tick-tock into your warrior 3. Arms can be reaching at your sides or maybe out to a T. Try to keep those hips squared forward. Strong into that left leg. And then slowly with control, drop those right toes to the mat. Inhale the arms high, crescent lunge. Release the shoulders away from the ears and kind of spin those pinky fingers in. Find some external rotation through the shoulders, gaze straight ahead. And then exhale, airplane the arms. That torso drops forward a little bit. And spin. Oh, let's bring ourselves out to a T first with those arms and then spin that back heel down and just kind of rotate to the right side of the mat. Find yourself in warrior 2. And then if you're pulled forward, make sure that torso is even and you've got even pressure into your front foot and your back foot. Like you're splitting that mat in two with your strong energy of your core. And then tick-tock into side angle here. right arm comes up, and try to open that shoulder back a little bit, really stacking the joints. Then start to straighten that left knee, triangle pose. And then strong core lifts you up. And then turn your hips to the front of the mat, interlace the hands behind the back. Step the right leg forward. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Finding a little movement in that fold if it feels comfy. And then release the hands to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Let's take it again on the left this time. Lift the left leg. Maybe you straighten that leg out. And then right away, tic-tacking into that warrior three. And slowly step the left toes down. Inhale, reach, crescent lunge. And then airplane those arms in the lunge. Arms come along your side, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then bring those arms out to a T and spin the arms to the left, drop the left heel down, warrior two. Coming into side angle here, right arm comes down, left arm comes up. Option for a bind, bring that left hand behind the back, reaching for your right thumb. And you can stay in this little half bind, or take the right hand and actually reach it underneath to meet the left, and maybe you interlace. Really taking care not to turn your shoulders towards the ground, but to open them up towards the left. Good, and then release your bind. Find your way into triangle, straightening that front leg, and then using your core, come all the way up. Turn the hips to the front of the room. Interlace the hands. Find that expansion, that extension through the back. And then step the left foot up, fold it forward. Release the hands to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Start to straighten that right leg in front of you as strong as you can. Nice straight spine. Using that core. Bring your leg behind you, warrior three. Keep your gaze in the same spot to help your balance. And then slowly set the right toes down. Crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane the arms, shift the torso forward. And then bring the arms out to a T, spin the back heel down, open up to the right, warrior two. And exhale, side angle. Option for the bind, so you can reach that right hand behind your back, half bind, or add that left arm in, and then really lift that chest up to the sky. And then binds unwind. Inhale, that left leg straight, triangle pose. And then lift that torso up, turn the hips forward, chest expansion, interlace the hands behind the back. And then step the right foot forward. Exhale, fold. And then releasing the fingertips down to the mat. Let's plant the hands down, step the legs back, downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna find a hip opener here, our pigeon pose. So inhale, reach the right leg high. And then exhale, draw it through, reaching your right knee towards your right hip. Most likely your shin's gonna kind of be at like a 45-degree angle compared to the top of your mat. You're gonna try to work your way to have that lower leg parallel to the top of the mat as much as possible. We want you to feel this stretch in your glutes. If you're feeling anything through the groin or the knee, flip over onto your back. So in your pigeon here, you can either stay on your hands or start to walk down to forearms and maybe even release the forehead. Okay? If you're on your back, you're just going to cross your right ankle onto your left thigh. Interlace your hands behind that left leg. Make sure you're keeping your shoulders and your head resting on your mat, and just gently draw that left leg towards you. So that's going to give you a nice stretch through that piriformis right hip rotator muscle. And we'll be here for a few breaths, so just kind of settle in. And then slowly coming out of this, okay? So if you're in that pigeon pose, go ahead and push yourself back to downward facing dog. If you're on your back, you're just gonna switch your legs out and draw your left ankle onto your right thigh. So if you're in that downward facing dog, inhale, lift your left leg high. And then exhale, draw it through, left knee towards the left wrist. And then kind of working yourself slowly down, making sure that the sacrum and that the hips are square to your mat and that you're not just opening up to that right side. And then slowly lowering if you've got the space. If not, feel free to just stay on your palms. And then just releasing down. And just noticing maybe where your mind wants to hold tension. Maybe it's telling you it's tight. You're anticipating it being tight. See how you can shift the narrative to just find some ease in the pose, right? We're self-exploring your body, following Svadhyaya. Couple more breaths here. Just settle and sink in. And then slowly coming up here. If you're in that pigeon, you're just going to tuck those right toes and bring your left leg behind you. Downward facing dog. And then we're all going to make our way onto our belly. So if you're in that down dog, you're going to come down onto your knees and then exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the mat. And then let's just tuck our chin here and draw our forehead on top of our stacked hands. And then eventually making our way into Sphinx pose. So bringing ourselves onto our forearms, just an easy, gentle back bend here. Releasing our glutes so we're not working hard anywhere, just a passive stretch into spinal extension. And if this is pretty easy for you, you're looking for a little more, bend your right knee. You might stay here, or you're just going to reach your right hand thumb down for your outer right foot. You might kind of tip a little bit to the left, but try as best as you can to keep your hips square to the ground and push the front of your right hip down into the mat to deepen that stretch into your psoas muscle. Good, and then slowly release, so we're not slingshotting that leg, just slowly release it down. Bring your right forearm back down onto the mat, then option to take it to the left. So bend the left knee, and then reaching that left hand for the outer left foot. Push the front of your left hip down into the mat to deepen the stretch through the hip and take the pressure out of the low back. Little half bow pose. Good. Exhale, release it back to Sphinx. And exhale, come onto your belly. Option for full bow, or you can take a little half bow options, or just bend your knees. So lots of versions here. If you're going to take full bow, let's start with our chin tucked, forehead resting on the mat. Bend both of your knees, and then reach for either ankles or the tops of the feet with your hands. And then try to keep your knees shoulder width distance apart, because they're going to want to spread wider. So really use those inner thighs, and then start to use your core, use your back muscles to peel your forehead and your chest off of the mat, and try to lift your knees, really pushing your hips and your belly into the mat. And then you might find some movement, rocking back and forth with your breath. And again, we're not forcing anything, so find the version that feels right for you. Maybe you take just one leg at a time, or maybe you're not reaching. One more breath, and then exhale, slowly lower. Tuck the chin, rest the forehead. Let's interlace the hands behind the back, and then kind of seal your legs together. Tops of the feet press down into the mat. And then inhale, once again, peeling the head and the chest off of the mat. Little interlaced cobra here. So push the tops of the feet down into the mat for leverage to lift your upper body higher. Squeeze your shoulder blades and maybe lift your interlaced hands off of your butt. Couple more breaths. Every inhale, try to get higher. And then exhale, slowly lower. Tuck the chin, release everything except the hands here. So release the glutes. Next breath in, we're gonna lift again. So inhale, lift, peeling head, chest, and this time lift your legs too. So locust pose. 2 more breaths. And then with control, slowly lowering back to your belly. Bring your arms out to the sides and tense your fingers, a little wide cobra here. So inhale, lift your chest. This time keep your tops of your feet on the mat, so just your upper body's lifting. Should really be feeling it in the back here. We're really using those spinal muscles. Squeeze the shoulder blades to help you. Exhale, slowly lower. Option to take that again, or to come to that in a version of locust. So inhale, lift. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you start to peel your legs off of the mat and maybe even lift your arms. Squeeze your glutes to give you a little more power. 1 more breath. Good, and then exhale, slowly lower. And then from here, let's just roll onto our left side. All right, so we're gonna bend our right knee and bring the sole of our foot onto our left inner thigh. Come to tree, just inside line. Okay? And then from here, start to straighten that right leg towards the ceiling. Pull your toes towards you. So your toes are lifted right now. We're just gonna roll our leg in, so we're lifting from our heel and our toes are pointed down. Start to feel your glutes engage here. If that knee has bent a little bit, straighten it out. And then exhale, slowly lower that leg down. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Really feeling our gluteus medius. We've got 2 more. Wonderful. And then bring your arms out in front of you. And then inhale, open that right arm to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it down. Good. So we're just working all these degrees of freedom in our hip and our shoulder. All these movements that during the day we're not really using, especially if we're sitting, doing things in front of us. next time that arm is up, bring it down to your side and inhale, lift it right back up to the ceiling. So we're just changing the direction of movement here, just a long lever in that shoulder. Good, one more. Next time that arm is up, let's drop it down to meet the left hand and then slide it open. Little gentle twist here. Maybe that hand is hovering in the air, especially if the shoulder's tight, or maybe you can drop it so it's reaching all the way behind you. And then take the gaze over that right hand. Good. And then exhale, draw that arm back. And make your way onto your other side. I'm just going to flip over to the other side of the mat so I can still see you. You can still see me here. All right, so on your right side, let's find our way to sideline tree pose. So sole of that left foot comes into your right inner thigh, maybe your calf. And then start to inhale, straighten that leg up. And then turn your toes down, heel is lifted, knee is straight, and then exhale, lower the leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Good, and then rest the leg. Draw the arms out, stacking the hands. Inhale, lift that left arm high. Exhale, bring it down. If you need a little more support for your neck, just bend that right elbow and rest your head. So just with control, lifting and lowering that left arm. Two more. Leading with your thumb. Good, and next time that arm is up, just drop it to your side, and then inhale, lift it back up. So we're just working our different rotator cuff muscles here. We have 4 of them. So depending on which direction we're going, we use them a little differently. Good, and then stack your arms again, and then open up, take a twist to the left. Good, and then slowly unwinding. Make your way onto your back, however you want to get there. Right away, let's bring our hands behind our hips so they're kind of stacked under our sacrum, and bring your legs nice and long. I'm going to fire up that core one more time here. So brace your core by pushing your belly button towards your spine, and then lift one leg or maybe both legs and start to just flutter the legs. If that's not comfortable, feel free to bend one knee and just do one leg at a time. I'll let you know when to switch. Got a few more breaths here. So again, don't let that mind get in the way here. Your body's capable of this. Just adjust if you need to. If you've chosen to bend one leg, go ahead and bend the other. Couple more breaths. Good, and then slowly lowering the legs, but keeping those hands under the sacrum. We'll start to just push up onto your forearms here. So you're going to push your forearms into the mat. That's going to lift your shoulders. And you're going to start to lift your chin up towards the ceiling, come into fish pose. So the back of